I was going to start with one of the things I wanted to start with was Michael Monroe was at a festival, same festival that Motley Crue was at. And for those who don't know, Michael Monroe is the singer for Hanoi Rocks. And
Okay.
for those people that don't know, in December of 1984, Vince Neil decided to get in his car with Razzle from Hanoi Rocks and took off down the street drunk as shit and ended up crashing the car and killing Razzle.
I
And
didn't know he killed that guy.
yeah, yeah. So he killed Razzle, and I remember it happening, and he ended up getting charged for vehicular manslaughter and all that. And Michael Monroe has not been very complimentary of Motley Crue since then. Obviously, understandably.
Yeah.
And they ran into each other at a festival. I want to say Finland, but I don't remember for sure. Anyway, Michael Monroe said one of the most important moments in my life was meeting Vince Neil for the first time last night. He said this on social media. Razzle always wanted us to meet, as he thought us singers were a lot alike. Under different circumstances, both bands would have ended up probably pretty good friends, but fate had other plans. And Michael Monroe is a lot like Vince Neil, other than Michael Monroe has kept his body in shape, and I feel like Michael Monroe has kept his voice in good shape. I saw Michael Monroe last year in Sweden at a festival, and he sounded amazing.
That's awesome. I said that to someone before about Vince Neil. I don't remember if you and I had this conversation, but you can see, and I go back to this quote that Peter Steele from Typo Negative made. He's like, if you're in a band, part of your job is to like stay in shape and look good for your audience.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying too carries over, where I see someone like Vince Neil who's kind of like out of shape and like he's like huffing on stage and stuff, and it's like, man, if he would hit the gym and like do some, like maybe change his diet a bit, he could hit those notes. I mean, you look at guys like Bruce Dickinson, and some of these other bands, like even Mick Jagger. I saw this thing about Mick Jagger, his like workout regimen and stuff. The guy is like in his 70s and he looks fantastic.
He's like almost 80.
Yeah. It's crazy. And Maiden is like, they're in their 60s, right? Like they have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bruce Dickinson, like he looks fantastic. He's been doing the podcast circuit lately.
Yeah. So then Michael Monroe goes on to say, "Thank you for your time, Vince. We didn't say much, but your eyes told me more than 1,000 words could ever." And he says, "Your singing was great at the show. Nice to finally see you guys live."
That's cool, man. That's like he's like water under the bridge. Honestly, too, I said this because the other day, and it might have been even on the stream, but I think Vince kind of karma got him, because didn't his daughter die?
Yeah,
didn't he have a daughter that died?
Yeah, she had cancer, if I remember.
She died real young too.
Yeah.
So it's almost like karma, like kind of like he killed that guy, but then he kind of suffered some serious tragedy later on, unrelated, but
Yeah. So
the world has a way of ironing things out.
That was an interesting story, because I mean, you think about Hanoi Rocks, and I mean, they weren't the most popular band in the 80s, but they had some good tunes, man. And what would have happened if they would have held together, because that accident took a lot out of them.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it changed the trajectory of their band, no doubt.
Yeah.